Okay, we're just gonna go like that real quick. Ready? Oh God. Hi, I'm Kristy, and today I'm gonna show you how to make a Bûche de Noel, also known as a Yule log, which is my very favorite Christmas cooking tradition. A Bûche de Noel is more or less a Swiss roll cake that's decorated to look like a log, like a Yule log, which sounds complicated, but it's really not so bad, I promise. We're doing basically a Nutella buttercream. You can use whipped cream or any flavor of buttercream you like. First, you need a stick of softened butter, and then a half cup of Nutella. We're gonna beat those together just until they're nice and creamy. So then with the mixer on low, we're just gonna gradually add powdered sugar, salt, a little heavy cream, and then, and then some hazelnut liqueur. A pinch of salt, which I know seems counterintuitive, but putting a little bit of salt makes things taste more sweet, actually. All right, and then we've got heavy cream. This is just 2 tablespoons. Hazelnut liqueur. Buttercream is done, and the consistency is a lot airier. See? It's now like a light brown. It's beautiful, and it smells delicious. Now it's time to make the cake. You want your eggs to be room temperature. Here we go. Generally, if you were just whipping egg whites, you want to kind of get the egg whites started and then add the sugar gradually afterwards. But with this, the sugar just goes in at the beginning. Yes? Just kind of get things started, and then you're going to turn it to medium high or high. This takes at least 3 minutes. While that's going, you're going to whisk together your cocoa powder, flour, and salt in a little bowl. So here we've got a half cup of cocoa powder, which is kind of the main component of the cake. There is only 2 tablespoons of flour. It's mainly an egg-based cake, which makes it pliable. And then just a pinch of salt. Whisk those together, or use a fork. You might be thinking, oh, those look frothy, I'm done. But you're not. Keep going. This is where you want to be. You can kind of see it's like a little ribbony and thick. Then we can add in your cocoa powder mixture, which we're going to do in 2 additions. You're going to add your vanilla first, and then half of the cocoa powder mixture. And then you're gonna add the rest of the cocoa powder. So you wanna do this on low because you don't wanna destroy all those air bubbles that you just beat in. And you're just gonna stir until it's kind of moistened but not fully incorporated. Then you're gonna turn it off, and you'll remove the whisk and just kind of use it to get all those last bits in there, so you're not overbeating it. So you just want to finish incorporating all that cocoa powder with the whisk attachment, and then we're gonna transfer it to our baking sheet. This one's a little big, but that's okay. You don't want to worry too much about spreading the batter all the way out to the edges of the pan. It's fine if it's just in the middle. I'll show you in a second. So you are going to take this and just spread the mixture out a bit. Like I said, it doesn't have to go all the way to the edges. You just want a rectangle approximate shape. And try not to break your air bubbles. If it's not super neat, that's fine, because you're going to trim the edges of this before we decorate anyway. Just try to get it even. I just got my fingers in it. You want the air bubbles, but you want to pop the big ones, so you're just going to tap it a couple times, and you can kind of see those bigger ones pop. Then it's gonna go in the oven for just like 8 to 10 minutes. It's really quick. All right, this is done. What you wanna look for is when it's starting to peel away from the edge of the pan here, and you just want the top to be set. You really wanna be careful not to over bake, because that's when you're gonna get cracks. See along the edge here how it's starting to peel away from the sides? That's what you wanna look for. While it's sitting for just a second, you can help it out a bit. Whoops, with an offset spatula, run that along the side to release it before we get to the terrifying part of flipping it. What we're gonna do now seems a little crazy. We're gonna flip the cake onto this towel and then roll it up, because what you want to happen is you want the cake to cool in that rolled shape so it has memory of being in that shape. And that helps you avoid cracks and have a beautiful cake. But you don't want anything to stick. So first things first, you are going to dust this towel with a ton of powdered sugar about in the shape of the pan. The powdered sugar will eventually just absorb into the cake, but it keeps it from sticking to the towel. Okay, we're just gonna go like that real quick. Ready? Oh God. Okay. Oh, there we go. Tra-la! Then you are going to carefully peel off that parchment paper. This is why you buttered both sides. So the parchment paper comes off and the cake comes out of the pan. Ow! And then guess what? You're going to sugar it again. There's not a ton of sugar in the cake. It's not going to make it any sweeter. It's just going to keep things from sticking. And if you missed a little bit, you can do a little more on the towel around the edge, which I did. Okay, while the cake is still warm, you're going to use this towel to help you roll it up. And basically, you can get a little bit in there. The first part is kind of the hardest part, but that's also going to be the inside. So if it's not the most beautiful, that's fine. Just go slowly. You don't want to squeeze it, but just keep it nice and tight without pressing down. And then you are just going to let that sit and cool for like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll unroll it and frost it. All right, the cake is cool, and then we are going to gently unroll it, and then we're going to fill it. If it's sticking a little bit, just help it along. Basically, rolling it up when it's warm and letting it cool that way helps prevent any cracking and helps it kind of know what shape it's supposed to be in. It's still a little warm here where the center was, but I think it's fine. We've got our Nutella buttercream. I guess I should say hazelnut buttercream. You probably won't use all of this because you don't want it to be super thick. The best way to do it is to just kind of dollop it around so you don't have to spread out a giant thing of frosting. Like I said before, you can kind of fill this with whatever you want. Whipped cream is delicious, and I put whipped cream on pretty much any dessert I can, but it doesn't hold as well. And one of the great things about this cake is that You can make it a day ahead, let it sit in the fridge. So you want to pretty much take this all the way to the edge. You don't want it squeezing out the sides, but you're gonna trim off the edges before we decorate. Again, the beginning's gonna be kind of the trickiest part. You can use a towel to help you again, but you obviously don't wanna roll the towel in the cake this time. So just starting with this little edge, you can kind of have the towel help you out. You're gonna carefully re-roll the shape. It should remember where to go. And if you have little cracks like that, it's not the end of the world. You just don't want any giant cracks. But look, that's looking pretty good. So don't squeeze. There we go. And then we're gonna wrap it in plastic wrap, and you wanna chill it until it's firm, about 2 hours, and we'll do the final decoration. The cake has been chilling for about 2 hours, so we're just gonna make the ganache frosting because you wanna let that sit for a couple minutes to thicken up. Basically, you're gonna put your chocolate in a bowl or a measuring cup, and then take hot cream, pour it over the top, let it sit for a minute, and then you're just gonna stir it up or whisk it until it's all melted and smooth. And that's a nice, easy way to do it because you don't need a double boiler to melt chocolate or anything fancy. And then to decorate the cake, we're gonna use this to kind of make the bark coating. You want it to be thick enough that it's not gonna just run off the cake, but not so thick that you can't get it on there. So, all right, the cake is chilled, and we are going to start to decorate it. You are going to need a serrated knife, probably a spoon, an offset spatula, whatever your cake is going to go on. And the first thing I like to do is trim off the ends so they're a little cuter. I like to do this before we do the frosting, so that your frosting can kind of hang over the edge and you're not cutting that off too. What I like to do to make it look more like a log is cut off like a 3-inch piece at an angle, and then we're gonna stick it on the end. So kind of on the diagonal. And then we'll take the main part of the cake, set it there. And then we're just gonna attach this part on the side, kind of like that. In the recipe, I told you to reserve like a 1/3 cup of the buttercream to stick this on there. And I, of course, forgot to do that, and I always do, so I just use the ganache in the end, and that's fine. So the ganache is thickened up a little bit. If you need it thicker, you could chill it, or you can just kind of put it on there. It's separating a bit. And then we can chill the cake once we've coated it. C'est mignon.
What's it called?
Bark, what we're gonna do is get all the ganache on there. You want it thick enough that it's not just gonna run off the sides. And then we might just chill it for a little bit, and then we'll use the end of a knife to run through it and kind of make little lines like a wood grain. That's the word I was looking for. We put this in the fridge just for a little bit to firm up the ganache, and then to make it look like bark, I'm gonna take the tip of a pointed knife to just kind of run it through. I like to do some long lines, some shorter ones. You could also have a little fun with it. Get some fresh rosemary, because that's kind of woodsy, and tuck that around the edges. You could sprinkle it with powdered sugar like it just snowed. How cute is that? And you could also add some sugared cranberries. You probably don't want to just eat raw cranberries, but they look cute. You just want to roll them in some water, toss them in a little bit of sugar, and then you can place them all over. And then my favorite part, which got too long to show you on this video, is meringue mushrooms, which we will have on another video. And you can just put a few on the log. Stay. And then a few around the edges. You could use a little ganache to stick them to the plate if you want. If you're going to be chilling this, I would wait to add your mushrooms until you're about to serve it, because those will get soft. Uh-oh. And you can also take a little bit of cocoa powder. Whoops, and you should do this before you put them on the cake, actually. You can kind of dust the top to make them look nice and mushroomy. So there you have it, the finished Bûche de Noel. We have our cute little meringue mushrooms, some sugared cranberries. I think it looks lovely. It seems complicated. You're definitely going to impress your guests, but as you can see, anyone can handle it. I hope you try it, and I hope you love it.